On this week's Most Craved, where's Loki?
The Suicide Squad assembles.
Star Wars, those crazy. Have I done that before?
No, but it's awesome.
Star Wars!
Hey guys, welcome to Most Craved. I'm Jenna Bush with Legion of Leia.
I'm Silas Lesnick with ComingSoon.net.
And I'm William Bibiani from Crave Online. Hey!
All right, so let's start with Age of Ultron, which I'm sure pretty much every one of you has seen by now. So some of us were expecting to see Loki. Loki did not end up in the film. Spoiler alert. Oh, I probably should have said that beforehand.
I think saying that someone isn't in a movie shouldn't count as a spoiler.
That's a good point.
You know who else isn't in the movie? Indiana Jones. Spoiler alert,
That's
I'm
true.
sorry.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so Joss Whedon has come out and talked a little bit about trying to get him into the film. They did actually film a scene. It did not make it in. I'm sure it will be on the Blu-ray.
It was supposed to go during Thor's Spirit Quest.
Yes, the
sort of completely tacked on. Incidentally, this will be important later scene. Yeah.
yeah, I like that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Did you miss Loki?
No, he doesn't belong in the movie.
I mean, I didn't miss him, but I would have liked a few more just surprises. It sounds like there were a couple instances of characters that Joss Whedon would have liked to include, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen.
Spider-Man, Captain Marvel.
I don't think the problem with Age of Ultron, a movie I basically liked. It's a fun flick. I don't think the problem was that it didn't have enough stuff in it.
That's a good point.
I think it had plenty of stuff. I think it had tons of stuff. I think if there's a problem with the movie, it's that there wasn't enough time to really deal with all the stuff it had in there. Like, for example, Thor's Spirit Journey, which just kind of comes in and then he mentions it at the end and then it's gone. Was that important? Should we have sped through that? There's a lot of stuff that feels kind of rushed in it, and I think just throwing in more stuff often quite probably just felt like more.
You know what we could have done? We could have taken out some of the Hawkeye stuff that lasted too long.
Hawkeye is great.
Hawkeye finally gets some time.
I love
in this.
him, just not the. I didn't like all that could have been accomplished with a photograph. And like, oh, hey, I didn't know.
I know.
I completely
I
disagree
love
with
the
that.
Hawkeye stuff.
I
I think
didn't
that's
do it
the
for me.
strongest stuff in the movie.
I agree, actually. Hawkeye finally gets some time in the movie. We finally find out what he's all about. He's the only member of the Avengers with a healthy personal life, and that provides a great backdrop for a lot of the characters to actually talk and put their lives into some context.
Well, I like that they gave him a story. I just think it went on too long. But that's beside the point. I think I want to see Tom Hiddleston in anything. Like I want to see Loki all over the place. But to be fair, we do have many movies, and we're seeing him again. So.
Although it is true that we got the brief Chris Evans cameo in Thor: The Dark World. It took 2 seconds, and it was really fun to see.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool to have a few more things like that. There are plenty. A lot of them were spoiled in the advertising. So we saw Claw in advance. Most of the Avengers that we see on the team at the end, we pretty much already knew were going to be there.
None of them were revealed in any way. It's just, all these guys who've been on the periphery, now they're here. And we're learning from Joss Whedon in a recent interview that he wasn't terribly satisfied with it either, because that's not the way Marvel works. They don't just let filmmakers make movies. They micromanage a lot, and that can be frustrating for a lot of authors. And yeah, if anything, it sounds like he's sort of distancing himself a bit. If there's anything he didn't like about Age of Ultron, it wasn't my fault kind of thing, which maybe it wasn't, but that's what he's signed up for.
Yeah, well, we do have one little interesting bit of news is that Martin Freeman is joining the cast of Civil War, which is awesome. And we were talking about this before we filmed. I kind of wish he were Spider-Man.
What?
I'm just being silly, but really, it would be fun.
If they weren't going for a 15-year-old younger Spider-Man, how cool would it be to have Martin Freeman do the Civil War moment where he takes off the mask?
45-year-old
Yes, because he's been Spider-Man for the last 20 years or so.
Right.
I don't know how old Martin Freeman is in real life. I apologize if he's not 45. Well, but I don't know. Like someone actually put out a rumor or a suggestion that who Martin Freeman would actually be kind of good at is Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben?
He'd be a younger Uncle Ben, but actually I totally buy that actually. And I think he could actually really play the hell out of that character.
The other Spider-Man character that is very key in the aftermath of Civil War, who knows how closely they're following it, is Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
That would be against type and kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I could totally see that actually. That would be really cool.
But the other, besides Wong, as just because it'd be cool to have him as Benedict Cumberbatch's assistant, is Captain Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Or Union Jack.
Oh.
If we're getting a bigger scope and an international scale, because we already know we're going to have some scenes in Wakanda, it would be kind of cool to see who is England's superhero role model.
I think that's awesome. By the way, for the record, for the commenters, I don't actually think that he should play Spider-Man. It was just.
But if he did play Spider-Man,
but it would be. I know.
It's called a joke.
We're just having fun.
We're just having fun, everybody. That's what we do here at Most Craved. Leave us a comment. Leave us a comment. You guys hear about the Star Wars thingy?
I heard.
There's these pictures in Vanity Fair that are like all of the Star Wars guys, and everyone's talking about, oh my God, that's so awesome! That guy is playing Kylo Ren, and Gwendoline Christie is playing Captain Phasma. I don't know who they are.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's still exciting.
Why is it exciting to know the names of characters you don't know are good or not?
Because she's from Game of Thrones, first of all,
Yeah,
and she's
she's
playing
cool.
a chrome stormtrooper.
So cool. Also,
Does
how
that make
are
her
they shooting
resistant
that?
to lasers? Like, how does that?
Who knows?
Makes her shiny, Bibbs.
It does make her shiny. No one's arguing that it doesn't make her shiny. I don't know. I look at this the way, you ever see like a movie and in the credits, it'll say like at the end of the actor's credits, they're like, and Jon Voight as Dave. And it's not like Dave isn't like an important character we all know. It's just like, oh, Jon Voight will make a great Dave.
Well,
I don't know who Dave is. I don't know who Captain Phasma is.
But the idea is like the fueling of these speculations. There's a lot of.
We can refer to them by name now.
Oh, well, thank heavens.
Well, no, okay, but here's the thing. So
Thank heavens.
one of the things I think they've been doing, and I've
Yeah.
said this before, but been doing really well with Star Wars, is they're giving us glimpses of things, but we don't really know anything.
Right.
And so nothing is being revealed by the names, except for the possibility that, well, we don't have Rey's last name. We have everyone else's last name, so there's speculation on what her last name actually is. But
Calrissian.
yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. No, but I think it's kind of neat. Like, we're getting all these fun tidbits, but nothing's being spoiled.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just happy to see the
I don't know.
pictures and-
I look at that, and that's fine, and that's valid. And again, I'm not going to deny anyone their enthusiasm for Star Wars. I'm a casual Star Wars fan at best. I like Star Wars. I don't go nuts for it. But I don't know, just this sort of trickling of information, it feels like a trail of poisoned breadcrumbs to me, where it's just like, oh, now we're going to tell you their names. This information is meaningless to you, but it keeps you excited, and we're going to do this like every week.
But it does.
need
I
any
mean,
help, and it
like you
does,
can
yeah.
say that cynically, but it does keep people excited.
I
And,
agree.
like,
Excited?
I agree. It does keep you. It's good marketing, but I think part of the job of someone who works in the entertainment industry as a journalist or as a critic is to sort of get people to not look at the marketing as if it is special. Marketing is a very cynical business. Marketing is basically just, hey, you people, see this movie. We will do literally anything to get you to see this movie,
I don't think they're
even
gonna
if
have
it's
any
terrible.
trouble getting anybody to see this movie. But
Exactly, so they can calm down a
But
bit.
as a Star Wars super fan, I mean, my website's Legion of Leia. Like, I'm obviously a super fan.
Yeah,
But-
you're the biggest fan in the room. Absolutely.
Yes, but I think that like this makes me happy. I want to know this as a fan, because I know journalists, but as a fan, I love knowing their names. I love seeing the pictures. I think it's wonderful, and I'm so glad I'm not being spoiled on anything. Like Lupita Nyong'o's character, I don't know what she looks like, but I do know that it's CG. Like it's a non-spoiler teaser, and it makes me happy.
and I think our job realistically falls somewhere between journalist and cheerleader.
I also think that our job is journalist, cheerleader, but also consumer advocate. And part of being a consumer advocate is being able to step in and just say, hey, listen, the trailer for something, maybe it's lying to you, maybe it's not that great, maybe this enormous wave of enthusiasm might be counterproductive, or might be setting up for a fall, maybe it's just enthusiasm completely blind, regardless of the actual content
What's wrong
of the
with that,
media.
though?
What do you mean?
What's wrong with enthusiasm?
Nothing is necessarily wrong with enthusiasm, but when enthusiasm builds you up too much for something that might not meet your expectations, that can do the actual.
But that's another. I mean, when it comes out, we'll write reviews, we'll
Yeah.
voice our opinions. But
And
in the
I'll-
meantime,
In the meantime, it worries me that it might be perceived that all we are doing is contributing to what is already a multi-million-dollar marketing push. We are not in the employ of these people. It doesn't benefit us in any way if people go see Star
but we
Wars.
get to get excited
Yeah,
too.
like
So-
I'm
if we're
excited
genuinely-
because I'm excited,
You
and
guys are genuinely excited.
yeah, and I want to enjoy
Totally,
the
but-
build up
yeah.
to December, because I mean, I really truly am a huge fan of this, and I can't wait. Why isn't it December yet?
The long and short of it is, when it comes to marketing, I'm the skeptic in the room. That's
Speaking of
basically-
marketing,
Hey,
we just got our first look at the Suicide Squad.
we did.
Does that make you happier than seeing Star Wars characters?
No, they look okay. They look like they kind of just burst out of Arrow. They look like no one's really particularly spectacularly designed, kind of muted, real world kind of stuff. They look kind of neat. I like Margot Robbie. She seems happy to be there. She seems like the only person who's happy to be there in that room, and that's befitting.
Enchantress looks like she's been dipped in mud.
Yes. Someone stole Harley's pants, and I'm sure she's gonna kick their
Harley
ass.
doesn't wear. Yeah. But I mean, but here's the thing, because this is just a personal thing. But everything seems like I'm kind of getting tired of the trend where every picture and every show is blued out. Like Game of Thrones lately, it's giving me a headache to watch because everything's so dark and blue except for the one flame in the middle of the room.
Right.
And it's the same sort of trend. Like we've got Katana and Harley, and everyone else is kind of like.
Well, it's very desaturated.
Yeah, which is.
It's basically like, don't worry, this isn't going to be lively. And I worry about that, but it does befit the tone of the Suicide Squad, which is, I would hope, more serious and more violent and more dour.
See, I would think it would be less serious, but more violent.
We'll find out.
Why so serious? Sorry.
That's the thing. But we'll find out, won't we? Hey, everybody, thank you for watching the 50th episode of Most Craved.
Woo!
We've done nothing special for it, but we really enjoyed doing this the whole time.
I wore my Link shirt.
She wore her shirt. It's very nice. Follow us.